Welcome to The Bigger Picture, a podcast that challenges us to look beyond the surface and learn from the journeys of those around us. Too often we judge people based on their current position and miss the valuable lessons that their successes and failures can offer us. But what if we looked deeper and saw the bigger picture? What if we recognized the common threads that connect us all, regardless of our backgrounds or circumstances? In this podcast, we'll explore the stories of people who have overcome adversity, achieved remarkable success, and found meaning in their lives. Join us as we uncover the lessons that can help us all live more fulfilling lives. Welcome to The Bigger Picture.
Welcome back to another episode of The Bigger Picture. I'm your host, Brendan Leung, and I'm excited for another chance to grow with you as we better ourselves, our communities, and our futures through the experiences of others. On this episode, I would like to introduce our two guests, Kyle Grande and Matt Hoddinott. Kyle is the student body president of Notre Dame West Haven, and Matt currently attends Bryant University, a business school in Rhode Island. Matt and Kyle co-founded Prestige Worldwide Automotive Detailing throughout the last few years. Kyle and Matt have made an incredible impact on the community and grown from a simple car detailing business out of Matt's garage to a full-scale detailing company that regularly services luxury car brands such as Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsches, and just many German cars. In his role as class president, Kyle has become an advocate for students and set a precedent for future generations of the Notre Dame student body. Kyle, Matt, just tell me a little bit about your childhood experience and how it landed you in the automotive detailing industry.
So thank you for having us on. I really appreciate you coming out. So ever since I was a little kid, I've been obsessed with cars. Like from the time I can remember my first word, which I can't, but I would always be in the car, like on the highway, looking into the oncoming lane, just looking at cars. I've always had just a satisfaction for the sounds and the looks and stuff. So even when I was like 8, I would be driving with my mom or dad, and I'd be able to tell what car it was from a mile away by the headlights, and it kind of always impressed them. And from there, I never stopped looking at them. I always online, YouTube, playing video games, cars. And then once I was old enough to get an Instagram, I think that's when it really took off, because I was seeing everybody's builds and new cars coming out and everybody's thoughts on them. And I've just always surrounded myself with that community, attending car shows and stuff with my dad when I was younger, and I just kept it going from there.
Yeah, I would say like pretty similar to Matt. When I was little, I used to like scream in the car. Like I'd like freak out when I saw a cool car in the oncoming lane. I just remember my parents would always be like, they'd always freak out because they'd think like they hit somebody or like they did something wrong when they were driving. And then I'd be like, no, look, it's a Porsche. No, it's a Lambo on the other side of the highway. We just passed it. So yeah, I always loved cars. I always loved working around like cool things that not a lot of people get to experience, like not only in cars but like dirt bikes,
Anything with a motor.
Exactly, anything with a motor that made cool noises. That was what I was into. And as like I grew up, it just started to get like I started to get more obsessive with the car like scene and the trucks, and just realizing that like I don't know, every vehicle is so unique. So I just started like to love that. And come like middle school, I was just
when we started to become friends, that's all we talked about. That's how we really linked dirt bikes, cars,
working on stuff like
exactly
just building random things.
Always talking about it.
Exactly. And then like I would help, like my dad would always keep his truck in like good condition, so I would always be helping him out, like washing it and stuff. And we got like a polisher, so I was always surrounded by something that had to do with the motor and a car, some wheels. Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know that obviously the company has just recently like exploded. You guys are getting so many really cool opportunities to work with some just amazing vehicles and also people as well. I think it is super inspiring to see just students create such an impact and be able to grow a company while obviously balancing school, sports, relationships, family life. Throughout your busy last few months and even years, you've been able to turn an idea and dream kind of into a reality. What advice would you give to others as they kind of want to turn their dreams into realities?
We're still young, so it might sound a little corny, but surround yourself with the only thing I could say is you should surround yourself with people that inspire you, and surround yourself with people that have the same intentions as you. I mean, Kyle's one of the most driven people I've ever met, and from there we just kind of connected with other people with the same interests. I say just surround yourself with people that are on the same page as you and want to grow, and I think that if you do that, there's nothing that you can't do.
Yeah, no, I definitely surrounding yourself with people like that. And I also say ask, I know this might be difficult for people. I know a lot of kids, especially nowadays with being able to just send text messages or DMs to kids and other people, they can find it a little difficult to talk in person, face to face. But I would say one of the biggest things that has helped us is reaching out to people and then meeting with them and meeting them face to face and asking them questions. It never hurts to ask a question, because the worst someone can say to you is no.
Exactly.
So asking questions on certain things that they do that made them successful, just gathering as much information as you can, whether that be through meeting people and talking to them, or even reading books. I've started to grow really into reading a lot of books, whether it's about business or just history. If you could absorb as much information as you can, it gives you that much more of an edge and a way to connect with people that you wouldn't have if you weren't to do those things. So
Yeah, awesome. I know you guys are obviously super busy, and it's a full-time job really to really grow your company, and obviously put your best foot forward with people so that they come back. In my experience, I know that as I've navigated the stresses of my life, balancing obviously this new podcast, time with my friends and family, and obviously sports, I've needed a lot of support. Has there been any people in your guys' lives that have just continually given you support, and how has their support impacted you?
I mean, obviously, parents are a huge thing. I mean, when me and Kyle wanted to start, it was time to get a job. I mean, most people were going to Target, most people were going to restaurants, getting jobs, and I think it was kind of not really a risk, but definitely different for our parents to hear that we didn't want to go do that, and they definitely wanted us to make money and get some experience in a job. So I mean, just them alone allowing us to try something new that's kind of off the beaten path is definitely huge. I mean, friends, family, everybody supported us. I mean, there's not really anyone that said we shouldn't do what we want to do, and I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, my dad and my uncles, they're all entrepreneurs, and I've hung around them for pretty much my whole life, and that's probably one of the coolest things that I have experienced, just being able, I appreciate all of them so much, and having my dad throughout the process really assist me and us as a company. It's really been huge. And so I'd say to be able to have a parent to be able to have a parent who's supportive of you, but willing to give you the feedback that you need to grow. So just challenge your ideas and say, this might be a reason why this might not work. I think that's huge. I also think with me, I've got a really bad temperament issue, and I'd say that Matt has grown to be a great handler, if you will, to whenever I'm getting a little off course, just kind of set me back on and help me to take a deep breath and step away from things. So
Yep.
I'd say we do a great job at just keeping each other grounded and not blowing heads of steam every once in a while, all the time. Yeah, definitely parents, friendships, ourselves. So those are just huge factors and great things to have when you're starting a company this young.
Going into a little bit about being the president of the student body at Notre Dame, and of course Bryant University, being a student there, I know school can only teach you so much, and obviously working and growing life experience outside of school can be huge for your guys' careers. What have you guys learned through Prestige that's really you know is going to help you guys in the future?
Definitely the management side of things. I mean, Kyle, obviously, props to him being student president. That was never my thing, but I think that's taught him a lot about leadership and stuff. I mean, school, in my opinion, I've never been a fan of school. I love the social aspect of it, friends, talking, but when it's time for class, I mean, it was never appealing to me. I think the whole do it by yourself thing is huge. School always, no matter what I was doing, if I was writing an essay, whatever, I always asked for help from teachers just because it was never my thing, and I wanted to do it right. So I asked for help from my teachers, and I always kind of had someone to lean on in that aspect. But kind of doing what we're doing now teaches you how to be. It really matures you. Not saying we're mature people by any means, but we've really taught kind of ourselves through our parents and stuff helping us. I mean, Kyle's a genius with numbers, and he's created formulas to help us with costs, and just he's really good at numbers and figuring things out that, I mean, I've never been good at math, so I've never been too good at. But I think the whole do it yourself, figure it out on your own is definitely going to help us in the future, because we kind of have an extra step ahead of a lot of other kids our age that, I mean, we've been through a few things, crappy situations, and we just kind of had to persevere through them, which is obviously one of the biggest things in life. So I think that what we do has really taught us how to be more of a better person and how to figure out tough times. And it's nice because we're young, where it's not going to affect us as much, but when it does affect us, how we can handle ourselves in certain situations and how we can fix our mistakes now so that our future is better.
Yeah, no, definitely. I like building off what Matt just said, like, I'd say accountability is huge. That's probably one of the things that the business has taught me, and I'd say all of us, because for 2.5 years, if we didn't show up, like, regardless, if we had a bad day, if we were sick, mildly sick, not super sick, but if we didn't show up to work, then the work didn't get done.
That's on us.
And that's on us. So that learning that part, like having accountability, I think is huge for real life. And I think that, not to say that school isn't like going to teach you that, but I think this personal experience with the business and owning it and running it, that's probably what gives us the most edge going into like the real world, if you will, is we've learned to be accountable for ourselves and for others, really.
And to just piggyback on that real quick, I think talking to people and seeing what they do helps us kind of figure out what we want to do and how we can do it. And I think that's a good thing, because school, yeah, you meet friends, yeah, you meet teachers, but everybody's just there to learn. Teachers are just there to work, and they do their job. You go home, and that's kind of it. So I feel like figuring it out, finding people that are doing big things and just asking them questions, kind of, it really helps. And you can't really find that in school. I mean, there's always those teachers that you're gonna like, teachers that you'll never forget about, but I think meeting people that are doing big things will help you figure out and drive you into do something you really want to do.
Yeah, totally, I agree. I believe obviously that everyone has been given a piece of advice that has allowed them to experience personal growth. Just tell us about a person who has shared a piece of advice with you that has impacted your life and why it was so important to your future.
You know, I think I've got a good one. So this was back when I was in youth lacrosse. I was playing lacrosse and baseball at the same time, and I was like, I want to quit lacrosse. It was kind of like, it was pissing me off going, like, I don't even know what it was about lacrosse that made me want to quit, but it was just like, it really, I don't know, it was like a 1 year period of me not really feeling lacrosse, and I didn't really like it that much. And it was the middle of the season, and I was like, Dad, I really want to quit. And my dad said to me, he was like, we do not quit. Grandies do not quit. I will not allow you to quit anything. If you're already in the middle of something, you finish it to the end and you see it through. Because at the end of the day, seeing it through and finishing what you want to stop doing and quit, you might end up with a really positive result that you don't see while your head is kind of blurry and you're fogged up from the anger of just like, I'm done, like I want to quit. Yeah, you're in the moment. And ever since then, like I think about when he told me that, we were like in the truck when I was telling him I wanted to quit. He was like, when he said like I will never allow you to quit. Like I think that is such a great piece of advice that he gave me, and like guiding words, because like I kind of live by that, whether it's through business, through lacrosse at the school, schoolwork. Just as much as I get like frustrated one day, if you just keep pushing through, there's gonna be light at the end of the tunnel, and that's probably like the most beneficial advice I've ever been given.
Yeah, I think the biggest, not piece of advice, it's sort of a piece of advice, but it's kind of more just like a life, something you like a motto, something you follow. Is my dad told me, God, a long time ago, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little bit extra. And everything I've done, I mean, I'm not an organized person by any means. I mean, my room's a mess, but everything I do that like is businessy oriented or a little bit detailed oriented is kind of based off that. It's just ordinary. Nobody wants to be ordinary. And I think extraordinary is it's not a big difference in words, but that little piece will make you better than everybody else.
Yeah, awesome. The Bigger Picture podcast is all about stories and experiences that can impact others in just such a positive way. Has there ever been an experience that has made an impact on you?
Matt, do you have something?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely get to experience a lot of cool things, but I mean, just going to the people's house, I mean, people's houses that we do cars at, you see these people with $1 million Lamborghinis, $300,000 Ferraris, trucks, just living the ideal life that me and Kyle are both after. Just being around that, asking those people questions who kind of came from not a whole lot, that tell you how they got there, is really moving and just shows that anybody can do it if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say we've met a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds, and success is, I'd say, an important thing for people to hear is success is different for everybody. You know, some people want the Lambos and the Ferraris and the massive garage, and that's what they love and that's all they want. Some people, success is just having a house and a family, going out to eat, you know, like having a good family structure. Others is being able to travel the world with just yourself. You know, like success is different for everybody. So I think that's an important thing that we've learned. But I'd say the experiences that collectively we've had, like what Matt said, meeting people. One of our customers gave me, he allowed me to use his car for prom. I brought his car for prom. It was a BMW M5 competition, big V8 for those who don't know, and it's ridiculously fast. And up until that point, the fastest car that I had ever driven was my dad's F-150, which was quick to me, but nothing compared to this BMW. And so him allowing me to drive that car to prom and just have it for like a day, it was, I'd say, we were texting after the prom about it, and I just thanked him, and we'd gotten onto the topic of like hard work and just like how it's important to continue to work hard. The taste, we talked about getting a taste of what like my personal success to me means, and that I love the cars, and I want to be able to have the cool cars and the fast cars. I think being able to get that taste of what it's like pushes me even harder every day just to achieve what I want, because after getting that taste, now I'm like, all right, now I need a car like that, and I want that. I'm going to do as much as I can to get to that point where I can afford that car. and I could drive that thing every day, and I don't have to give it back to a customer of mine who had lent it to me. I could just take that and put it in my garage and hang the keys up in my kitchen, you know?
Yeah, I didn't really say a situation. I just kind of gave like a brief overview of a time, but I would say like one of the coolest thing that's happened is when we went to go wash at SVJ.
Yes.
And the customer was on the phone when we got there, and he just, you could tell he had trust in us.
Yeah.
And he literally took his keys out to his $1 million car and just threw them across the garage to us and said, pull it out. And that is just so cool to me because, I mean, he trusted us to get in that car, know how to start it up, pull it out safely, and get the job done. It just, getting in that car, feeling what it's like to fire it up and hear the V12 and just, that's a dream car. And that's what, like, that's my favorite car. And that was the coolest moment because I just got to be behind one and feel what it was like to be a person in that car knowing that you made it.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure when he did throw those keys over, I'm pretty sure I dropped that key.
Oh, good job.
I'm not gonna lie. I think it slipped out of my hands when he threw it across the garage. But yeah, it was just, those experiences are just so cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool and very interesting, especially just those type of things are experiences that not every kid, especially your age, is going to ever be able to have.
Yep.
So learning from those are huge. We have a little tradition on the bigger picture where we look at some strength and qualities that you guys have that sometimes people don't see. We talk a lot about on this podcast about how people are like icebergs. There's a bit of them showing on the surface, but there's a lot of things and strengths that they have below that not everyone gets to see. So tell me a little bit about some strengths and qualities that you guys have that most people don't see when they.
I think we should do this in reverse. I say your strengths that I see, you see mine, because I feel like we don't like to look at our own strengths from a different point of view.
I like that better. Yeah.
So I think Kyle's strengths definitely are, he's very smart and he figures things out in ways that a normal person wouldn't. He's very good at talking to people, which has been huge for us. Kyle's definitely a leader. He likes to like student government and what he does at school. Like he can get up. Kyle, one thing I will say, everybody in my family said it too. Kyle's a fantastic speaker. Kyle made me a video for my birthday 3 or 4 years ago of him sitting on his couch in his basement. I think it was like a 2 or 3 minute video.
Yeah.
Just talking about like what we did up to that point. Like we weren't doing any of this at that point. We were just having fun. We were just friendship. And the way he spoke and like the words he used, like that's in your vocabulary, were very impressive. And you getting up like in front of school and talking at like a podium is something I can't do, and I give you big props for that.
I would say, so there's like certain situations where like there's just awkwardness in a room, and there's like, I would say like you're just like people get kind of like timid in a sense where it's just like you get a little shaky because like you don't really know what's going on. I'd say Matt's ability to come into a room and kind of just not only put like me at ease, but put like he's able to put the whole room at ease. Just the way that like he holds himself and is able to like find something in common with someone else, and just be able to like start conversations that I wouldn't even like think about talking about just out of nowhere. And it'll be like he could have met someone for 30 seconds and a minute into the conversation they would be talking about some far-fetched thing that I would have it wouldn't even came across my mind, but somehow they would be bonding over it. And then that tentativeness and the timidness that was in the room is just gone. So like his ability to just like keep everybody, including myself, kind of just like calm in a lot of these situations, like that is such an important thing. And that's something that really not a lot of people have, but Matt does. And it's like, it shows like everywhere. So like, yeah, like whether it's at school, business, like life, like it's just like, it's such it's just a great quality. That's like so awesome to be able to be so close to, because it's like no matter where I'm going, if he's there, I know it's going to be fun. And it's going to be like, we're going to find our way through, and it's going to be like calm and relaxed in a way.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know that both of you guys have already found so much success in your experience so far. Tell us a little bit about some of the obstacles you've had to overcome and failures that you've had to go through.
Well, an obstacle that was resolved pretty quickly. We had up here in Connecticut, the weather changes. So we had originally started in Matt's driveway in his garage because we started in COVID, basically. So we started the business in COVID, and we were on online school. We weren't really doing anything, and then we were like, we wanted to start the business, so we were like, what's the easiest way to do it? And we started in his driveway, which was perfect, and it worked super well for when it was warm out. And then it started to get cold. So like a little obstacle we had was like, where are we gonna go? And then my dad was like, you could use our garage here for the winter. And we were like, perfect, we'll use that. And we kind of loitered around there for the last 2.5 years, I'd say. But I'm trying to think, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had too many huge obstacles because in our industry, it's kind of, it's detailing. Get the car clean, make sure it looks good. But I mean, we've 100% had our fair share of early on forgetting spots in cars to clean.
Yeah.
We had a situation where we had a Mercedes here. We were polishing the hood, and it was completely faded after we polished it. And again, I kind of freaked out. Kyle stayed calm, and we kind of just, we didn't know if we should keep polishing because we didn't know if it would ruin the car or not. So we kind of just took a step back, looked at the car, decided that we should try a few different things to try to solve it, and the car came out looking like it was brand new. So it was just small little things, minor inconveniences that have popped up, we've gotten through. I mean, we've been told, I think because we're younger, people try to take a little bit more of an advantage of us that we don't know.
I would say, I'd say another obstacle that's kind of like ongoing, building off like what you said about being young, is we've had to build a reputation that was really thorough and good over the past 3 years, because being so young and then asking people to work on their $100,000 to $1 million cars is really, that's a big ask, and that's a big risk on their part, because to them, I assume, asking a 16-year-old kid to wash your car is not really in the mindset of a lot of people. So building our reputation and learning communication skills, that's definitely been like probably the biggest obstacle that we've like slowly climbed up the ladder to achieve, because it's definitely like really important.
Building that trust is definitely huge.
Like
it's hard to do it with some people, but once you break through, it's great.
And I would say, building the trust and learning the communication skills, just being able to know your industry and what you offer inside and out has been like a gradual obstacle that we've slowly started to climb and peak at.
And now that those people have trusted us, we can show people it's not our first time doing these cars.
Yeah.
So it gives them a sense of insurance on their end.
Yeah.
So
going into a little bit about your guys' company, I want to give you guys a chance to kind of just explain what you guys offer. I know that obviously this podcast is going to reach a bunch of different communities in the sports world, academic-wise with different schools, as well as just the broader community out here in Connecticut. So what you guys offer, and how would they be able to like come in here and get their car done?
So we offer everything from just a basic hand wash all the way up to ceramic coatings. And ceramic coatings are basically multi-year coatings that go on to the car as a liquid and then form into a solid, just so versus what traditional way of doing things, which would be a wax back in from as long as detailing has been around. versus the wax. The ceramic coatings create a stronger shell around the car.
Almost like an extra layer of clear coat.
Yeah, and they provide protection and gloss versus just wax. So yeah, we offer an entire array of packages between basic hand washes and ceramic coatings, and throughout there's interior details. There is a wax package. There's exterior details. Yeah, we offer a full array between that hand wash and the ceramic coatings.
Yeah, really cool. I know, going off of what we talked about a little bit earlier, just success and failures, I know that you want to continue to see success in many aspects of your life, obviously including the company, but in school, in sports. Looking into your future, what do you see yourself doing, and how do you plan to grow?
Honestly, no idea what I want to do yet. Definitely something in the business world. I'm not the type to sit at a desk all day. I mean, I like to go out, see things, talk to people. So, I mean, yeah, a little bit of office work here and there. It's normal, but I don't want to be behind a computer for 9 hours a day doing math. That's just not my thing. So, I mean, I don't know. In my future, I don't really know what I see. There's definitely a lot of things. I don't want to do just one thing. I definitely want to have a business or a high-paying job, and then from there have some real estate on the side. So I don't know. Management is cool to me. So I don't know if I want to do some type of management through, I don't know, owning a construction company, or who knows, owning car dealerships, used car dealer. I don't know. I don't really know what's going to happen yet. And I feel like that scares a lot of people. But I think that's really cool, kind of not knowing where I'm going to be. But I know wherever I'll be, I'll put in as much work as I can to do as well as I want to in my head, and come out with that dream life that's in my head. So I don't know. It's gonna be a cool thing to look back on from here to the next 20 years of my life. But I mean, everybody we've talked to, still 50, 60 years old, they all say, I still don't know what I want to do with my life. So I don't know. I don't really have a perfect answer for you, but there's definitely multiple things that I would love to get into. So
yeah, I mean, I'd say Matt and I are pretty similar with like how we think and what we want to do, what we at least know we want to do eventually. I'd say later on down the road, I'd love some real estate as well. Just, I don't really know what side of real estate I want to get into or how I want to go about it, but I'd say for now, in the present time, Matt and I are talking the past few days, and we really want to focus while we're going throughout college, not only growing detailing side of things, but trying to build a brand. Because in today's society, it's not that physical labor jobs are becoming like lesser popular, but it's that building the brand side of these companies are really where you can expand the most. So I definitely want to see like what we could come up with in the next few months and years while we're in college, just like kind of see where we could go with the brand that we're trying to build. And
who knows, maybe our own line of detailing products, maybe blow up and make some really cool merchandise.
Yeah.
We don't really know where we want to take it, but we have a lot of different routes that we could approach. So.
Yeah, and then I mean, after college, I plan on studying finance in college. So that could definitely help me in the business world. And if I needed to, or if I find a passion for it, maybe go work on Wall Street. But like Matt, I don't really think I could handle that. I don't know if I could go sit behind a computer and have like a desk job all day. So I don't know. Something a little industrious and a little bit brand building. I think that's the topic I want to stay on, and where that takes me, I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, very cool. I know that obviously nobody knows what the future holds for any of us. Tomorrow could be the hardest thing that you ever went through. It could be in a month, it could be in a year. A lot of times we need to give ourselves pieces of advice and pieces of encouragement to help us get through those tough times. If you had to give your future self a piece of advice, what would it be and why?
That's a really good question.
Yeah. Jeez.
Try to think.
I would say no matter how hard times would get, you just keep your head down and keep moving. You're gonna go to sleep, wake up the next day. It's gonna be a whole different day. And I think you just have to focus and take things day by day. Because again, like you said, who knows what tomorrow will hold? Who knows what a year from now will hold? But I think just having the determination to get through the shittiest of times will help me, or I think anybody, get through something and come out in the end with what they want. I mean, anybody, you ask anybody, you have to go through hard times to get what you want, and that's how life goes. So, I mean, knowing that's gonna come, I can try to better prepare myself and my mind for when that's gonna happen. Who knows what it's gonna be, but there's obviously gonna be struggles in life. But I think you just have to kind of stay up and just power through them.
Yeah, I'd say for me, I would go with learn and better be able to separate work and life, which is kind of something I've struggled with for the past 2 years, because we aren't a huge company, but relative to who we are, I'd say we're pretty big, and it kind of consumes me a lot, and I lose sight of things outside of work. And you get caught up with seasons, like sports seasons come in, you're balancing schoolwork and business, and you're trying to make sure that all those different things have legs to stand on, and neither are getting less attention. And what I've noticed with me is it kind of draws me away from other things that I try to get to or focus on. And so I think it's important. That's what I've been realizing recently. It's important to be able to balance your life out, and it's been something that I'm not the best with now, but I'm getting better at. And so I think in the future that'll be a really important thing. Just balancing family, relationships, girlfriends, friends, just making sure you're checking in on everybody. I think that's just a really important thing to be able to achieve, and I'm working on it now. I wouldn't say I've mastered it by any stretch, but that's definitely something that I would give my future self advice for.
Yeah, well, Matt, Kyle, just thank you so much for being here with us today on The Bigger Picture. We've just learned so much from you both, and I know that your story will help our audience better themselves, their communities, their relationships, and of course their futures. So I want to thank you guys for being on this episode of The Bigger Picture. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow us on social media to stay up to date on our upcoming episodes. I hope that through Kyle and Matt's successes, failures, advice, that our audience will be able to better their own experience. So thank you for listening to The Bigger Picture, and we'll see you soon on our next episode.